full-time MMA? Nothing else?
My life, man, yeah.
Guy kept asking me that I was fighting Khabib, UFC. Talked to my manager called me last couple days. He offered me to fight Khabib. I said yes, I'm ready to go. He said December 3rd. He said I'm ready. I definitely want to fight with him. He definitely one of the best. I'm really respecting him, especially his team. He's definitely one of the best, 155 in the world. I want to fight with him. I will fight with the best. He's number 2, I'm number 3. I think that's the fight makes sense for us. That makes sense for me, it makes sense for him. For sure. If I win this fight, if we win, go to the title shot. That's what I'm waiting for. You know? I really hope this fight can happen, man. I'm very excited to fight this Khabib. Like I said, he's definitely one of the best in the world. I'm very excited and 100% healthy. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I hope this fight's gonna sight really soon.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
As you heard there, or if you didn't, I'll repeat it. Edson Barboza has officially accepted the fight versus Khabib Nurmagomedov that was offered to him for UFC 219 December 30th. And I gotta say one thing before we get to the good news. I got a question. How UFC 219 is looking like it's gonna be too stacked? I think like there's been so many fights that are possible for 219. Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, Edson Barboza, Chris Cyborg, Holly Holm. The fights that are already on there, Daniel Cormier, Volkan Ozdemir, all of those 4 that I named are rumored. I don't think all 4 of those are going to be on UFC 219, but that card is going to be stacked. So with that being said, Edson Barboza versus Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to be such a good fight. Oh, it's just going to be good seeing Khabib and Edson back in action. Edson's been injured. Khabib has been eaten. No, I'm just joking. Khabib has been out. He was out with injury. He was out. First, he didn't technically miss weight versus Tony Ferguson. I think he went to the hospital before he stepped on the scale, but it was due to a bad weight cut. So you can say he missed weight. So he had weight issues. He's had injury issues. He's had to be out for religious reasons. So Khabib's been out. Edson Barboza, he's been injured. Both of these dudes are 2 of the top 5 lightweights in the UFC in the world. Both of these guys are beasts. It's gonna be a great style matchup, man. I can't wait to see Robin Black's breakdown on this fight. I always think about, whenever I think about a Khabib breakdown, that breakdown where he broke down Tony Ferguson. The Eagle likes to take him down to ground zero. And if he gets you to ground zero, it's over. So Khabib, you know, he's a fucking dominant wrestler. Edson Barboza, dominant striker. As far as these are 2 of the best at what they do. Edson Barboza is known for his nasty leg kicks, just his range of striking. I mean, it's not just his leg kicks. He's a fucking striker. He's not coming in there to take you down, choke you out. That's not his goal. He's coming in there to motherfucking whoop your ass. So Khabib, we know his game plan. He's coming in there to take him down. So it'll be interesting to see where, I mean, I don't know how this fight's gonna go off the top of my head, man. But it's gonna be a great fight. I would probably lean toward Khabib, but at the same time, this is going to be one of Khabib's first major tests in his career. Khabib Nurmagomedov is, I believe, 24-0. But I did Khabib versus the World, which I haven't did one of those in a while. We got to do a versus the World soon. We did Khabib versus the World, and I looked through all 24 of his whole record, you know, when we did the knowledge, and there's only really like 2-3 names on there that, I really, you know, probably even recognized, and I don't think any of them are in the top 5. I mean, Khabib's last fight was versus Michael Johnson. He's not in the top 5 anymore, but I believe he was at the time. Other than that, I can't remember anybody else Khabib has beat off the top of my head that's in the top 10, if he has beat anybody. But he's still, it doesn't matter, man. He's undefeated. He's fucking a dominant wrestler. Shit, man, this is gonna be a great fight. And what's even better than this fight is the fact that we're gonna get the lightweight division shaking and shuffling again, moving, grooving. That's fucking great news, because the lightweight division has been stagnant and stale as old crackers in this bitch. What the fuck you talking about? This has been terrible. Literally, everyone in the 1 through 6 has been stuck in the mud in the lightweight division. We had Conor McGregor out fighting Floyd. He was active, but while he was out, we had ranked #1 Tony Ferguson waiting on his fucking title shot, whether it be versus Conor or an interim title shot. We had Khabib who there, actually he's ranked 2. So ranked #1 and #2, Khabib and Tony Ferguson, they weren't fighting. Khabib had multiple issues we've already talked about. And ranked #3 was Eddie Alvarez. He was doing the Ultimate Fighter with Justin Gaethje, who's ranked #5. So they're not fighting because they're filming a season. Ranked #4 was Edson Barboza. He was injured. So there's 1 through 5 not fighting. Ranked #6, we got good old Nate Diaz, definitely not fighting. So ranked 1 through 6 in the lightweight division has literally been stuck in the mud to the point where we had Kevin Lee ranked #7 fighting Tony Ferguson for the interim title because no one else would take the fight with El Kakui, Tony Ferguson, the motherfucking bull, which is part of the reason this fight is happening, because Khabib Nurmagomedov said he will accept the fight with Edson Barboza if the UFC is going to schedule Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor. But if Conor's fighting Nate, he said, fuck that, I want to fight Tony. So that fight's already been scheduled twice though, Tony Ferguson versus Khabib. First time Tony Ferguson had to pull out, I forget for the reason. And the second time was a lot more famous, more notorious, so UFC 209. That's the fight when everybody was waiting on it and Khabib had to pull out of that fight. So they've both had to pull out of that fight. Fucking Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov, for whatever reason, man, when they get scheduled, it doesn't happen. So that is a fight we want to see, but at the same time, it's not one we can really put a lot of stock into or hope into. If they scheduled it, like, all right, Conor versus Nate 3, now we got Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, it'd be cool and all, but I don't see myself getting hyped up for Khabib versus Tony Ferguson like until the day of the fight, because just it already fucking ripped out our soul before. But Edson versus, the fact that the UFC has offered Edson Barboza the Khabib fight leads me to believe that the UFC is planning on Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor, which Dana White has been reiterating. So at this point, if Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz were to happen in December 30th, if that was the Conor's next fight, I would be shocked. I'll say that. A lot of people are still believing, after all of this news, after everything going on, that somehow, some way, the UFC is still going to have Conor versus Nate 3 next. God, there's been so many things coming out to just point otherwise. They're offering, like, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's all just to put pressure on Nate Diaz and make him sign for the right amount of money. So you're going to tell me they're offering Edson Barboza a fight with Khabib just to make Nate Diaz believe Tony Ferguson versus Conor? Like, that's a lot of shit, bro. You're gonna tell me they're offering Edson a contract with Khabib all to put pressure on Nate Diaz? Bro, I'm telling you, I think Conor McGregor's gonna be fighting Tony Ferguson, and I'm fucking more than ecstatic for that fact. Tony Ferguson, I mean Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor is cool and all. That's probably definitely what most of the casual fans want to see. And I know there's a couple hardcore fans that want to see that as well. But a lot of us are dying to see fucking Tony Ferguson get that shot. And a lot of us are a little perturbed with the fact that Nate Diaz doesn't want to fight anybody in the UFC aside from Conor McGregor at this point. And only for the price tag, he came out and said $20 million. He's been offered an interim title shot versus Tony Ferguson. He didn't want that smoke. He said somebody had to get him excited. You know what? This isn't about all the reasons Nate Diaz has been pissing off the hardcore fans lately. Or just, you know, kind of not even turning them against him. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, as a Diaz fan, you want to see him make the best move it's going to be in his career. But as an MMA fan, you want to see this shit moving and grooving, this division shake. So I don't want to see the lightweight division stalled while we wait on Nate Diaz to play this game with the UFC. Do your thing, brother. Meanwhile, I'm ready for Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor and Edson Barboza versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. And hey, it is what it is. I'm happy about this fight. It's good to be announced. I want you guys to tell me about this outro you're about to hear. This was sent to me on my very first channel, MMA Quick Hits 2, bro. Very first channel, someone sent this to me. They said they were like a professional musical engineer and doo-doo-doo. And I remembered it. And I said, man, I'm going to use that in October. And hey, look, it's October, and I remembered it. I went back to the MMA Quick Hits 2 email, found this shit, and it was from someone named Jorge Juan. Juan. Not Jorge One, Jorge Juan. So, I don't know if this is the same Jorge One that's donated multiple times now, and that is my motherfucking dude that comments, fucking holds it down. Full-time family for sure. Day one hitter. I don't know if this is the same one, so let me know if this is you that sent me this clip a long time ago, because I'm definitely going to be using it for the remainder of October. It's the 18th now. I'm 18 days late, but fuck it, you know what it is, bro. Halloween's coming, and this shit is pretty motherfucking creepy. With that being said, it is what it is. Let the haters know what the fuck you think about this outro and everything else I said in this comment, in this video, in the comments. I'm out.
Bye, Felicia.